Hello, welcome to Caregiver Connections. Today we're going to explore the why behind meltdowns, aggressive behaviors, and unsafe behaviors. I am Anne Ruiz. I provide the parenting and wellness support here at Head Start and Early Head Start. So today's topic is all about the survival state that comes out of Conscious Discipline's brain state model. We use conscious discipline here as one of our social emotional curriculums, and we help support kids in the classroom setting to work on building their social emotional skills. But what's really great about this model is that it works in any environment, including your home. So we want to share what we're learning from conscious discipline, the brain state model, and how this helps us better understand our kiddos' brain development, behaviors, emotions, and all the tricky situations that come up as they are learning and growing. So we are going to start in the survival state because that's where we start, our brain development starts. Our little ones, newborns, infants, they're really primarily only have that survival state developed. And that is their way of getting their needs met by finding ways to survive. And most of what, the skills they have is crying and letting, their caregivers know, hey, I need help. I have a need. Get those basic needs met. And of course, it then develops into more of the emotional needs and comfort needs over time. But for the most part, it's all based on that survival need and that need for safety and care. So that is where all of our kiddos start. And then as we get into the toddler stage and the preschooler stage, we are, having more brain development, more access to different skills. That emotional state is developing. But they often can head back to that survival state very easily in this age range, the 3 to 5 year olds, because it is what they are most familiar with. And they just kind of end up in that spot a lot because they still have so much more to learn. And so when they are in that state, they are looking and needing safety. They are wondering, am I safe? Even though maybe from our grown-up perspective that we don't see or understand how they might be looking at the situation. And so what does it look like for them? They might be hiding. They might be fighting, surrendering, and other physical reactions. And so that is that instinct to fight, flight, or freeze. And so they are looking to get that sense of safety back in their body and their mind. And what we're going to talk about today is how we can help them to get there. All right, so just to really break it down to the basics, the survival state comes up for our little ones when there is a trigger that is telling them that maybe there is a real or a perceived threat to safety. And that can come up for so many different reasons for little ones because they just don't have as much experience with different types of interactions with peers or with grown-ups, and what is, going on. And so they get to that threat state, they get those triggers much more easily than grown-ups or even older children because they just haven't had those experiences before. And so we have to, as the grown-ups, take a step back and remember that their brain development is in a place where they may be perceiving a threat, even though we know 100% there's no threat. And so we need to help them understand that and support them in getting back to that understanding that they are safe. And then we will get to what came out of those, situations where they got triggered and thought there was a threat and maybe reacted in a physical or unsafe way. So we see our preschoolers, especially in this age range, be able to show us so many skills. And it can feel like, wow, they're learning so much. They know so much. They understand. They have access to lots of skills. They've built them up. They've shown us they can do these things. They're talking more. They're able to follow directions and work through difficult situations at times. And so we, come to expect that from our 3, 4, 5-year-olds at times. But here's the thing is that because they're still developing those connections in their brains and their level of skill, they can lose access to those skills pretty quickly and go back to that survival state and that part of their brain that is most familiar to them, because they've only been here for 3, 4, 5 years. That is, there's a different length of having access to different parts of their brain and where their development is at. So what it boils down to is, if our kiddo has gotten to that level, they're being physically aggressive, they are melting down, they cannot take anything in, listen to our instructions, or, work through something on their own, they need us to help them get back to that sense of safety. We need to see it as a call for help. We need to join in with them. And that takes a lot to kind of work through things for ourselves as the grown-ups. So what does this look like in the moment, in action? What might we actually say or do in those situations? And truly, it is often a matter of safety when they are in this state. And, it depends on the child, how that looks. Maybe they're just hiding under a table, and though we don't want them to have that reaction, or we want to help them work through it, the level of safety concern is, at a different level than if they're actually like hitting, kicking, jumping off of something unsafe, running into a parking lot, street, things like that. So we're going to respond to the level of, urgency and, safety factors going on there. And of course, we are going to be impacted in that moment. We're going to have that, urgent reaction, concern for safety, depending on what is going on in the moment. And so that can feel very emotional. That can feel very, that we're getting into that threat state and survival state as well. And so the best thing we can do is try to find our level of, calm and, just manage the safety factor first, get the situation safe again, contain it, move them away from others to, make sure others are staying safe, that they can't have access to things that maybe they were throwing, or, anything, or, potentially breaking. And so that is the number one step, is just to find safety for everyone. And so the examples here is, say what you will do to keep them safe. You're wanting to keep your words very simple, limited, very fact-based, and just focusing on, I'm setting boundaries and I'm getting everyone safe. I won't let you hit. I'm going to help you move your body to a safe space. I'm going to keep you safe by helping you move your body away from others. You're struggling to be safe right now. I will keep you safe until your body is calm. The messages of safety, the messages of I'm helping you, is all about showing that, yep, this is not okay. We need to get safe. And I see that you need help just as much as the others that might be, getting hurt or, involved in the situation. everybody's safety is important, and it just creates this level of, I'm still with you, I'm still connected, I still love you, I'm helping you to get out of this unsafe situation. And that can also help us remember why we're doing this, and can start to reduce our level of urgency of the situation, um, and our level of concern, and kind of not get too deep into that survival state for ourselves. All right, so then once it's more contained, um, or if there wasn't as big of a safety factor, if we're just needing to support our kiddo to work through those emotions and that stress and that like sense of fear due to whatever happened, we're going to just want to be a presence, keeping ourselves safe at all times. That could be they're in their room, we're on the other side of the door. That is an okay way to approach this and still have presence. Talking through the door or stepping away, I will come back and check in on you as soon as I can calm myself, or something like that. We don't want you to stay with them if they are continuing to kick or hit you as well. So we can definitely keep those boundaries clear. But then, right, when we can kind of start joining them and getting closer, being a safe presence, we might just be there. We might just be breathing, regulating ourselves to, continue to support them in feeling that sense of safety and calm. We might just say, "You're safe. I'm right here with you." Just to, again, establish that sense of safety. You're not looking like you are in an emergency. They feel that. We might give them that space. If you know your kid, maybe they don't like to be, touched or have you really close right away in those moments. Give them that space. Say you'll come back, or I'm here when you need me. So then which kid, you might be able to put a hand on their back or their shoulder just to like have that sense of grounding from you, that calm from you. Some kids would not want that touch. Help them to a safe place where they could move their body to release feelings. So that, we're making that choice when getting safe, but maybe we need to move again to get to a bed, a couch, somewhere with pillows where they could kind of move their body and have a safe, soft spot to be kind of releasing that energy. So bottom line, what it kind of boils down to is that we are, seeing the situation for what it is, that our kiddo does not feel safe. They are struggling to be safe. We're going to help them. We do that by saying less words because they can't take it in. They don't have that access to listening or following directions right now. We are just wanting to be that safe and calm presence in that moment. We're not jumping into blaming, giving consequences or punishments. We're absolutely setting boundaries and saying the unsafe behaviors need to stop. We're helping them stop. We're not, letting them continue to do those things, but we are not jumping into addressing those behaviors right away. We just need our child to feel safe again so that they can feel connected with us and, and just continue to cope in their body and their brain and have that that feeling of calm and regulation in their body. So I always have, some sort of handout that I am always happy to share with all families on these tips and these concepts. This kind of pulls it all together of what was shared today. If you would like to have that, a hard copy or something, in your email, you can connect with me to get a copy of this handout. And if you feel like, okay, yes, this is happening for my kiddo, my family, we're struggling to work through these moments or to reduce that escalation to the survival state, I would like to talk through my situation. There's always, different factors that, we have to work through and think about what is going to work best for your family and, each individual that is a part of these tricky interactions. And so I'm always available to connect with you one-on-one and kind of talk through those details and figure out the best strategies for you. All right, so join us next time to continue to learn more about the brain states and those emotional reactions and responses. See you next time.